Welcome, dear listener. Thank you for joining me this evening as we embark on a gentle journey together. Tonight, I have a special story to share with you, one that flows as smoothly as the subject it follows. This is the story of OJ, a tiny droplet of orange juice with a spirit as bright as its color. As you settle in, perhaps lying comfortably in your bed or resting in your favorite chair, allow your mind to drift with me into this calm narrative. OJ began life nestled within the protective embrace of an orange, growing slowly on a sun-drenched tree in a peaceful grove. The tree stood in a valley where mornings arrived with gentle mist and evenings departed with soft golden light. Unlike the other droplets forming within the orange, OJ was especially curious about the world beyond the fruit's protective rind. While others were content to simply exist, OJ would press close to the edge of the orange's interior, wondering what adventures might await outside. The orange that housed OJ was special. It had grown at the very top of the tree, where it received the most generous amount of sunshine. This position blessed OJ with a particularly vibrant hue and sweet essence. The farmers who tended the grove often remarked that the oranges from this tree produced juice that seemed to capture sunshine itself. On calm nights, when the grove fell, silent except for the whisper of leaves in the breeze, OJ would feel the orange sway gently on its branch. Through the translucent layers of pulp, OJ could see faint glimmers of starlight. These moments filled the little droplet with a sense of wonder and a longing to be part of something greater than the small world inside the orange. Days passed into weeks, and weeks into months. The orange grew fuller and heavier on its branch. OJ developed a rich, sweet character, absorbing nutrients from the fruit's flesh. There was a contentment in this existence, a peaceful purpose in becoming what nature intended. Yet still that curiosity remained, a gentle pull towards something more. The orange that was OJ's home had begun to reach perfect ripeness. Its skin had taken on that deep, inviting color that signaled it was ready for the next stage of its journey. OJ could sense a change coming, though what form it would take remained a mystery. The little droplet simply waited, suspended in that perfect moment between what was and what would be. One particularly beautiful morning, as golden light filtered through the leaves and warmed the grove, OJ felt a new sensation, movement. The orange was being gently twisted from its branch by careful hands. The motion was surprising, but not frightening. Instead, it felt like the beginning of something important. OJ and the orange were placed in a basket with others from the grove, cushioned against them in a bed of soft leaves. And so began a journey. The basket swayed rhythmically as it was carried from the grove, each step bringing OJ further from the only home the droplet had ever known. Through the rind, OJ could sense changes in light and temperature, could feel gentle vibrations of movement and the murmur of distant voices. There was no fear in this transition, only a calm acceptance and that ever-present curiosity about what might come next. The basket carrying OJ and the other oranges was placed in a cool, dim room that smelled of earth and other fruits. Here, OJ rested, still safely contained within the orange. The droplet used this quiet time to reflect on the journey thus far and to wonder about what might lie ahead. There was a subtle shift in the atmosphere of the orange. a gradual softening, a gentle ripening that continued even after being picked from the tree. Days passed in the tranquil darkness. Then, without warning, light flooded in as the basket was lifted once more. OJ felt the orange being selected, held in warm hands, examined. There was a moment of stillness, then movement again. The orange was placed on a surface that felt cool and smooth. For the first time, OJ sensed something that might be described as uncertainty. What was this new development? The droplet had always known its purpose was to provide nourishment and joy. But the form this would take remained unclear. Would the orange be eaten whole? Would OJ remain forever, a part of the fruit's inner structure? The answer came with surprising swiftness. OJ felt pressure as the orange was sliced cleanly in half. Suddenly, the protective world of the fruit was open to the air. Light touched the droplet directly for the first time, not filtered through layers of rind and pulp, but immediate and clear. The sensation was momentarily overwhelming, a flood of new experience that left OJ feeling vulnerable, yet exhilarated. More pressure followed as the orange half containing OJ was pressed against something firm and ridged. The structure of the fruit began to collapse. Around the droplet, cells ruptured, releasing their precious contents. OJ felt a moment of concern. Was this destruction? Was this the end of the journey, rather than a continuation? As the pressure increased, OJ and countless other droplets were forced from their comfortable chambers within the orange. They flowed together, becoming something new, no longer individual entities, but parts of a greater whole. OJ found itself transported along a channel, falling in a gentle arc into a clear vessel below. The transformation was complete. What had once been countless separate droplets was now a unified substance, orange juice. OJ was both lost and found in this new collective identity, a single note in a symphony of flavor. The individuality that had defined the droplet was transformed, but not diminished. Instead, it was enhanced by joining with others, each contributing their unique essence to create something greater than the sum of its parts. This change brought new challenges. The protective environment of the orange was gone, replaced by exposure to air and light. OJ had to adapt quickly to this new reality. The juice settled in its glass container, adjusting to the sensation of being truly separate from its source for the first time. Around the juice, the world seemed vast and filled with strange new things. There were sounds OJ had never experienced before: the clink of glass, the murmur of voices, now clear rather than muffled by layers of fruit. There were scents too, complex and varied, hinting at a world far larger than the grove or the dim storage room. OJ felt a ripple of apprehension move through the juice. What would happen next? What was the purpose of this new form? The uncertainty was not frightening exactly, but it created a gentle tension, a waiting for something unknown. The waiting didn't last long. OJ, now part of the freshly squeezed orange juice, experienced a new sensation. As the container was lifted, there was a gentle sloshing motion as the juice was poured into a smaller glass, clear, elegant, catching the morning light in a way that made the orange liquid seem to glow from within. This new vessel offered a different perspective. Through its transparent walls, OJ could see glimpses of a kitchen, warm woods, gleaming surfaces, and beyond that, a window showing blue sky and distant trees. It was so much larger than the small world of the orange grove, yet somehow connected to it. The trees visible through the window reminded OJ of beginnings, of that first home where sunshine filtered through leaves. The glass was lifted again, this time moving with greater purpose. OJ felt the gentle motion as the juice traveled upward. Then came a new experience. The juice meeting lips, the warmth of human contact, the purpose of nourishment finally being fulfilled. OJ understood then that this was the destiny that had been waiting all along, to provide refreshment, pleasure, and sustenance. But the journey wasn't complete. With that first sip, the glass was set down again, and OJ settled once more, awaiting the next moment of purpose. In these pauses between sips, the droplet, now inseparable from the collective juice, had time to observe and reflect. From this new vantage point, OJ noticed the rhythm of the household. People moved about their morning routines, speaking softly to one another, preparing for their days, pausing occasionally to enjoy the simple pleasure of fresh juice. There was something beautiful in this ordinary moment, this daily ritual that connected the human world to the natural one from which OJ had come. With each sip, the level of juice in the glass lowered. OJ might have felt concern about this diminishing, this gradual disappearance, but instead found a sense of rightness in it. This consumption was not an ending, but a fulfillment, the completion of a purpose that had begun with the first formation of droplets within the orange. The journey continued inside the person who drank the juice. OJ traveled through systems both complex and efficient, bringing energy and nutrients to cells throughout the body. There was a unity in this process that echoed the unity OJ had found in becoming part of the collective juice, individual components working together toward a shared purpose. In this new phase of existence, OJ encountered challenges. The environment within the human body was different from anything previously experienced, warmer, more active, filled with chemical processes that transformed the juice in fundamental ways. Yet, even as the original form dissolved, the essence remained. The energy captured from sunshine, the nourishment drawn from soil, the unique character developed during those peaceful days hanging among leaves. Throughout this internal journey, OJ maintained that same curiosity that had defined its existence from the beginning. Each new stage brought discoveries. Each transition revealed aspects of existence previously unknown. There was no resistance to these changes, only acceptance and wonder at the continuing story. As components of the juice were absorbed into the bloodstream, OJ experienced a kind of transcendence, becoming not just a part of a human body, but an integral element in human experience. The energy provided helped a teacher explain concepts to eager students. The vitamins supported a gardener tending new plants. The simple pleasure of flavor brought a moment of joy to a busy morning. As the day progressed, the energy that OJ provided moved through the body of the person who had enjoyed the orange juice. This energy helped power a walk through a park where trees similar to those in the original grove swayed in a gentle breeze. In this moment, OJ experienced a profound connection. a circular journey that linked the origin in the orange to this present moment of appreciation for nature. This realization marked a turning point in OJ's understanding. The journey had never been about maintaining a single form or identity. It was about transformation, about flowing from one state of being into another, each with its own purpose and beauty. Just as the orange had grown from blossom to fruit, just as juice had formed from individual droplets, this current state of energy and nourishment was simply another expression of the same fundamental essence. With this understanding came a profound sense of peace. The apprehension that had accompanied earlier transitions melted away, replaced by an acceptance of change as not just inevitable, but desirable. Each new form bringing new possibilities, new ways of experiencing and contributing to the world. As afternoon turned to evening, the person who had consumed the juice sat down to write. The clarity of mind, partly provided by OJ's nourishment, allowed for ideas to flow smoothly onto the page. Words formed into sentences, sentences into paragraphs, creating something that hadn't existed before. OJ was now contributing to creation itself, helping to bring new thoughts into the world. During a moment of rest, the writer gazed out a window at the setting sun. Its orange glow reminded them of the juice enjoyed that morning, creating a moment of appreciation for simple pleasures. OJ, now dispersed throughout the person's body, experienced this gratitude as a kind of recognition, an acknowledgement of the connection between sustenance and creativity, between nature's gifts and human endeavor. As night approached, the energy provided by OJ began to shift into different forms. Some helped repair tissues as the body prepared for rest. Some supported the complex processes of memory formation, preserving the experiences of the day. Some simply provided warmth as the air cooled with the departure of the sun. In the quietness of evening, as the person who had consumed the juice prepared for sleep, OJ experienced a different kind of awareness, no longer concentrated in a single location or form. The essence that had once been a curious droplet in an orange was now integrated into countless processes and systems, each with its own rhythm and purpose. This diffusion might have felt like a loss of self, but instead brought an expanded sense of connection. The boundaries that had once defined OJ, first the chambers of the orange, then the collective identity of the juice, then the glass that contained it, had dissolved one by one, revealing a more fundamental truth: that separation is often more illusion than reality. In this expanded state, OJ could appreciate the entirety of the journey, from seed to tree, from blossom to fruit, from fruit to juice, from juice to nourishment, from nourishment to energy, and thought and feeling. Each stage had its own beauty, its own purpose, its own challenges and revelations. As night fully embraced the world, the person who had enjoyed the orange juice settled into sleep. Their body continued its work of processing and utilizing the nourishment provided earlier in the day. In this quiet time, the essence that had once been OJ participated in the mysterious processes of renewal that occur during rest. Dreams came to the sleeper, vivid images of sunlight through leaves, of fruit heavy on branches, of liquid the color of sunset, though the conscious mind didn't recognize these as connected to the morning's orange juice. There was a subconscious appreciation, a dialogue between body and mind about nourishment received and utilized. In these dream images, OJ experienced yet another form of existence, as inspiration, as memory, as the stuff of unconscious creativity. This was perhaps the most surprising transformation yet. This movement from physical substance to something that approached the metaphysical. Yet it followed the same pattern as earlier changes, the same flowing from one state to another, the same fundamental continuity beneath apparent difference. With the arrival of morning, the cycle began anew. The person awoke refreshed, their body having utilized the nourishment from the previous day to repair and prepare for the new one. They moved to the kitchen, where they would again choose an orange, cut it open, and press its halves against the juicer. Though this new orange contained different droplets, different individual expressions of the same essential nature, there was a connection to OJ's story. The same grove, the same sunshine, the same caring hands had tended these fruits. The same appreciation would greet their transformation into juice. In a very real sense, OJ's influence continued. The person who had enjoyed yesterday's juice remembered its flavor and refreshment, and this memory informed the choice to have orange juice again. The nourishment provided had supported decisions and actions that now led back to this similar moment, a kind of continuity that transcended the apparent ending of OJ's individual journey. And beyond this immediate connection, there were wider ripples. The person, properly nourished and energized, had interacted with others in positive ways. Ideas developed during yesterday's writing session would be shared and might inspire still others. The grove continued to be tended because people valued the fruit it produced. In this web of connection and consequence, OJ's journey found its greatest meaning. What had begun as a single droplet curious about the world beyond its orange had become part of that world in countless ways, some obvious and immediate, others subtle and far-reaching. The fundamental lesson of OJ's story revealed itself fully in this moment of completion that was also continuation. That individual existence, while precious and unique, finds its fullest expression in connection and contribution to something larger. The orange existed to provide nourishment. The juice fulfilled this purpose. The nourishment supported life and creativity, which in turn supported appreciation for the gifts of nature, including oranges and their juice. This understanding was not a diminishment of individuality, but an expansion of it. Recognition that the unique qualities developed during those early days in the orange found their meaning in how they contributed to the whole. The sweetness, the color, the texture that made OJ distinctive were meaningful because they could be shared, because they could become part of other experiences and lives. As evening approaches once more, imagine yourself as part of this gentle cycle of nourishment and appreciation. Like OJ, you have your own unique journey, your own distinctive qualities, your own contributions to make to the world around you. And like OJ, you are connected to countless other journeys, part of patterns and processes that extend far beyond what may be immediately visible. Let your thoughts drift with this understanding. feeling the rightness of both your individuality and your connection to everything else. There is peace in this balance, this recognition of self that is neither diminished nor exaggerated, but simply acknowledged as one note in the complex harmony of existence. The story of OJ is, in many ways, the story of all living things, a narrative of growth, change, purpose, and interconnection. As you rest now, allow this gentle truth to settle around you like a comfortable blanket. Your own unique essence is valuable and necessary, and it finds its fullest expression not in isolation, but in how it flows into and enhances the world around you. Feel your breathing slow and deepen as you absorb this understanding, like the orange on its branch, like the juice in its glass, like the nourishment flowing through the body. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. There is no hurry, no striving needed, only this peaceful acceptance of your place in the continuing story of life. The room around you holds you safely as your awareness begins to drift. Perhaps you imagine an orange grove in the distance, trees heavy with fruit catching the last golden light of day. Perhaps you picture a glass of juice, vibrant and refreshing, waiting for tomorrow's enjoyment. Or perhaps you simply rest in the knowledge that connections exist even when not consciously perceived. That meaning continues to unfold even in moments of quietness and rest. As sleep approaches, allow any remaining tension to dissolve, any lingering concerns to fade like mist in morning sunshine. Your body knows how to rest, just as it knows how to transform nourishment into energy and thought. Trust this wisdom that moves through you, that connects you to the natural rhythms of the world. The story of OJ concludes as all good bedtime stories should, not with dramatic resolution, but with gentle acceptance. The curious droplet that began in an orange found its purpose not in answering all questions, but in flowing willingly from one experience to the next, finding meaning in each transition, beauty in each new form. As your consciousness begins to drift toward dreams, carry with you this simple wisdom that life flows most sweetly when we move with its currents rather than against them. When we recognize our place in the greater whole, without losing sight of our unique contributions, like a drop of orange juice, carrying sunshine and sweetness, you bring your own special qualities to every interaction, every relationship, every moment. Rest now, gentle listener. Allow yourself to be carried into sleep with the same trust that carried OJ through its many transformations. Tomorrow will bring its own adventures, its own opportunities for nourishment and growth. For now, simply breathe, relax, and let go, knowing that you are part of something beautiful and ongoing, a story that continues even as you sleep. Good night, sweet dreams. May your rest be as refreshing as cool orange juice on a warm morning, as restorative as sunshine nurturing fruit on a peaceful grove. Sleep well.